They told me to wait outside. Not please, not sir, just wait outside like it was the most natural thing in the world. I remember standing there on the sidewalk, one hand still on the glass door, feeling the cool air from inside fade as it slid shut. The showroom lights were bright, almost blinding, reflecting off polished cars that cost more than most people's houses. Inside, I could see salespeople laughing, moving freely, shaking hands with customers who didn't look all that different from me, except they didn't look like someone society had already made a decision about. I adjusted my jacket not because it was wrinkled, but because that's what I do when I'm trying to stay calm. Navy blue. Tailored but not flashy. No giant watch, no logo screaming money, just me. And in that moment I felt it, that familiar, quiet sting. Not anger, not yet, just that sinking realization that before I even opened my mouth, I had already been categorized, sorted, dismissed. I wish I could say this was new. It wasn't. I've walked into rooms like this my entire life. Rooms where people decide who you are in the first 3 seconds, by your skin, your posture, your silence. Rooms where confidence without volume is mistaken for weakness. I've learned over time that correcting people too early robs you of something valuable. The truth. So I stood there. Through the glass I watched a couple stroll past the same car I had been examining minutes earlier. No one stopped them. No one questioned their intentions. A salesman appeared, instantly smiling, leaning in, offering coffee like hospitality was automatic. I checked my watch. 2 minutes? 3. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about a car. This wasn't about inventory or appointments or even sales. This was about who gets the benefit of the doubt and who gets told to wait. I walked back inside. Slow, calm, shoulders relaxed. I didn't storm in, didn't raise my voice, didn't do anything dramatic. I simply approached the nearest desk and said, "Hi, I'd like to speak with whoever's in charge today." The man behind the desk looked up at me like I'd interrupted something important. His smile was thin, polite, in the way that doesn't actually invite conversation. "What's this about?" he asked. "Business," I said. I was hoping to have a short conversation. He glanced past me, then back at my face, then down at my shoes. That pause told me everything. "We're pretty busy," he said. "If you're not here to buy today, we don't usually." "I am here to talk," I replied, still calm. "With management." He laughed. Not loud, just enough for the people nearby to hear, just enough to feel intentional. "Look," he said, lowering his voice, "why don't you come back when you're ready to make a serious purchase?" Something shifted inside me then. Not rage, clarity, the kind that tightens your spine and quiets your thoughts. I nodded, understood, and I walked back outside. This time I didn't feel embarrassed. I felt focused. I pulled out my phone, leaned against the concrete pillar by the entrance, and took a slow breath. I didn't need to vent. I didn't need to prove anything. I made one call, short, direct. "I'm at the location," I said. "Yes." "The behavior is consistent. Go ahead." I hung up before the other person could say more. They thought I was leaving. I wasn't. I was positioning. When I came back, the energy was different. Same doors, same cars. But this time I wasn't alone. I didn't announce anything. I didn't make a scene. I simply walked in with 2 people who carried themselves the way experience does, quietly, confidently, without asking for permission. You could feel it ripple through the room. Conversation slowed. Smiles froze halfway. The man who laughed earlier stiffened when he saw me again. "I told you not to," he started. I raised a hand. Not aggressively, just enough. "I'd still like to speak with whoever's in charge," I said. "Now." Someone behind him whispered his name. Another employee avoided eye contact altogether. A woman near the finance desk looked uncomfortable, not surprised. Just uncomfortable, like she knew this moment had been coming for a long time. The man crossed his arms. "You're causing a disturbance." I almost smiled. Almost. Instead, I said, "I've been nothing but calm. That's on record now." That's when I reached into my jacket and pulled out something small. Not flashy, just a badge, a title, a truth that didn't need explanation. The color drained from his face. The room went silent. Not the awkward kind, but the heavy kind. The kind where people suddenly replay the last 20 minutes in their heads and realize every word has weight. I asked earlier who had decision-making authority here. I said, my voice steady. "That would be me." You could hear someone inhale sharply. A pen clattered to the floor. The man in front of me opened his mouth, closed it, then tried again. I didn't know, he said. I nodded. That's the point. He started talking fast then, explaining, backtracking, apologizing in fragments, the kind of apology that's more panic than remorse. I didn't interrupt him. I didn't need to. I looked around the room instead at the employees who stayed silent, at the customers who suddenly understood what they'd been witnessing at the glass doors that looked so different now. This was never about me, I said finally. It's about how easily respect disappears when you think there are no consequences. No one argued. I didn't fire anyone on the spot. I didn't threaten lawsuits. I didn't raise my voice. I simply said, "We'll take it from here," and turned toward the exit. As I walked out, the doors opened automatically, smooth, effortless, the way they should have earlier. Outside, the air felt lighter. I stopped for a moment on the sidewalk, listening to the city move around me, cars passing, footsteps, distant voices. Life going on. I realized something then. Respect given after power is revealed isn't respect, it's fear. And fear isn't what I was ever looking for. I got into my car and sat there for a second before starting the engine, hands resting on the wheel, breathing steady. Not triumphant, not angry, just resolved. Because the real victory wasn't watching anyone squirm. It was knowing I didn't have to become loud, cruel, or bitter to be heard. Now I'll ask you something and really think about it before you answer. Do you believe money changes how people treat you? Or does it just expose who they already were when they thought you didn't have any?